Relax, you're with us. Cruise Holidays of the Era.
Pull up a deck chair and sit back, relax. It's time for your favorite cruise hour. You're on board, just cruising. Whether you're dreaming of your first cruise or planning your next one, join Larry Jackson as he explores the magical world of cruising. To launch today's cruise, here's Larry Jackson.
Aloha, e como mai, and welcome aboard. I'm Larry Jackson, owner of Cruise Holidays of the Era. I'm a Cruise Lines International Association designated elite cruise counselor and a Hawaii destination expert. Most importantly, though, I'll be your host for this week's video magazine that we call Just Cruising. And that's the magazine devoted to travel and cruising and all kinds of really fun things. And we're really glad you could join us today. All right, let's talk about the top 10 reasons to go to Hawaii. Number one, the weather. Everybody asks me, what's the best time of the year to go to Hawaii because of the weather? Well, there really isn't. Winters tend to be a little bit rainier. The summer tends to be a little bit drier, but we're talking about very little differences between the two. The temperature does not vary more than 5 or 6 degrees on the high and more than maybe 8 or 9 degrees on the low. The coldest I ever saw temperature at sea level on Oahu was 58 degrees. A normal day in Hawaii is a high of 82 degrees and a low of somewhere around 68 to 70 degrees. It's ideal weather. The other great thing about the weather in Hawaii is they have something called the trade winds. And the trade winds are a northeasterly wind that blows about 10 to 15 miles an hour all day long. And what that does is that provides a natural air conditioning for the islands, which blows the humidity away and just keeps it very, very pleasant. Except for the high rises in Waikiki and things like that, there's very little air conditioning in Hawaii and no heating. The other great thing that the trade winds do, they bring moisture in from the ocean. The clouds rise when they hit the mountains, and there's mountains on every island. They rise in elevation. When they get to a certain elevation, the temperature drops and it rains. So almost all the rain falls on the mountains. And what little rain is left on these clouds as they pass over, as the winds blow them over the islands, moves very quickly. So it rarely settles in, and you have a rainy day. You always have what we call in Hawaii passing showers. And in Hawaii, passing showers, if you get rained on, that's considered a blessing, a sign of good luck. So the weather in Hawaii is phenomenal. It's wonderful almost all the time. Number two reason to go to Hawaii, and that's the people. Tourism is the major industry, almost the only industry in Hawaii now that agriculture is pretty much gone. And the people of Hawaii practice what's known as the aloha spirit. And I did not know this, but it's actually a law in Hawaii that all citizens and government officials are obligated by law to conduct themselves in accordance with the aloha spirit. I actually looked this up. It is in the Hawaii Register of Revised Statutes, Chapter 5. And here's what it says. Aloha spirit is the coordination of mind and heart within each person. It brings each person to the self. Each person must think and emote good feelings to others, in the contemplation and presence of life force. These are traits of character that express the charm, warmth, and sincerity of Hawaii's people. Aloha is more than a word of greeting or farewell or a salutation. Aloha means mutual regard and affection and extends warmth and caring with no obligation in return. Aloha means to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. Isn't that beautiful? Now, that is truly the way the people of Hawaii are. You know why the people of Hawaii practice this aloha spirit? Not just because of tourism. It's because there are no majorities in Hawaii. And that brings me to another point about the people and the cultures of Hawaii. And so everybody in a small area with a lot of folks, there's over like 1.2 million people living there in this small area, has to learn how to get along together, and that's where the aloha spirit really comes about. Okay, number three reason I like to visit Hawaii is the cultures. And what Hawaii is such a unique blending melting pot of the world. It started obviously with the Polynesians coming via canoes from Tahiti, or Micronesia, we're pretty sure. Second came the haoles, or the explorers, the whalers. Then came the missionaries. They planted sugarcane, and they needed workers for their sugarcane fields, so they brought Japanese immigrants in. And they worked the cane fields, but as always happens with Hawaii cultures and people, as they came, they assimilated into the culture of Hawaii. They then became shopkeepers and doctors and dentists and professors and things like that. So we needed some more people to come in and work the fields, and then the Chinese came in. And again, they assimilated, they moved up in the rung of the ladders of the culture. And so we needed some more folks in Hawaii to work the agriculture, and the Filipinos came in. They were followed by the islanders, Samoans, along the way, Mexicans and Spanish. Folks came to be paniolos, or cowboys, to work the ranches in Hawaii. And then World War II brought in a huge influx of even more white people, known as haoles, in Hawaii. All these people came together, and they brought each of their cultures. And it almost 25% of the population of Hawaii claim their ancestry of two or more races. And I'll tell you about my granddaughter as an example. Her name is Kaya. Her grandmother, Linda, is Norwegian and Irish, and she married a Filipino person, and now her son married a Japanese girl. So Kaya is part Japanese, she's part Filipino, she's part Norwegian, she's part Irish. And all of those things blend together, and each person, each of the cultures brings some positive thing from their culture together, and it's all celebrated in Hawaii. And that's what's so fascinating about Hawaii, is all of these cultures coming together and getting along and celebrating each other and taking a little, hey, I like that part of your culture, I'm going to incorporate that with mine. And it is truly a blending of people getting together. It's magnificent to see. Number 4 reason to go to Hawaii is the history. As I mentioned, some of the history about what happened with agriculture and how folks came in. But the fascinating thing about Hawaii is that before the year 1778, Hawaiians had never seen iron, they had never seen white people, they had never seen gunpowder, they had never seen a Bible, they had never heard of God as we know the Christianity or Judaism or even Muslim. They didn't have any contact with people. And what evolved from that is fascinating to see. Then you add in everybody else's history comes in from the, basically in the 1820s, the missionaries began arriving from New England less than 100 years after the islands were unified by Kamehameha I. He did that in 1795. He brought all of the major islands together under one monarchy. Hawaii lived under a monarchy until it was overthrown in 1896, which was a very sad part of the history of Hawaii, and you can learn that when you go with us on our cruise tour, because we take you to Iolani Palace. Then Hawaii was a republic. It was annexed as a republic in 1898 by the United States. The attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, established Hawaii as a major military presence in the Pacific, and in 1959 it became the 50th state of the Union. And all of this history is captured there for you in Hawaii. Number 5 reason, and what we're doing here on Just Cruising, in case you're just joining us, we're covering the top 10 reasons to go to Hawaii. Number 5 are the beaches. Hawaii has 750 miles of shoreline and 400 named beaches, and almost all of them are public. I can only think of 3 that are private in all of the islands. There is every color of sand beach that you could possibly want in Hawaii: white, yellow, black sand beaches on the Big Island, red sand beaches on Maui, and green sand beaches on the Big Island. One of the things I do caution, if you're going to Hawaii, you need to be aware of the ocean conditions, and the best way to do that, be aware, is to go to beaches where there are lifeguards, and there are tons of them, so you don't have to worry about not being able to find a beach. but the lifeguards will have warnings about especially things like high surf and that sort of thing, which can be dangerous. Okay, number 6 reason to go to Hawaii, one of my favorites, is the volcanoes. Each of the Hawaiian Islands was formed as a lava rock, basically, because the islands were located over what they call a hot spot. And this is a hole in the ocean where magma from the earth comes up. The hole there in the ocean stays steady. But what's happened is the plates, the tectonic plates, move over this hole. And as the plate is over the island, or over the hole, lava dwells up from the ocean and creates these islands. And then pretty soon, once the islands form, it drifts on and a new island is formed. And right now, we have one that's forming off the northeast of the Big Island. Volcanoes are also the reason Hawaii is the only state in the Union that's getting bigger geographically. Every year it adds 40 or 60 acres from flows of the volcanoes erupting at Kilauea on the Big Island. It's the longest recorded continuous volcano eruption. It began in 1982 and it continued, 1983, and it continues to today, and you can actually see it. One of the things we do when we take our cruise tour of Hawaii, when we cruise out of Hilo, we go around the island and we actually at night and see the lava flowing into the ocean. It's really tremendous. You can actually go right up to the volcano, to the Halemaumau crater on the Big Island of Hawaii at Hilo. And our new island is called Loihi. And in about 1 million years from now, you'll be able to walk on the island. Not very much of it, but maybe a few acres. And it's being formed down at the 14,000 foot depth out in the ocean. Volcanoes it is so much fun to go see them, walk in lava tubes, all kinds of cool things to do with volcanoes. Okay, number 7 reason for going to Hawaii is the ocean. I don't care what you like to do on the ocean, even if it's just to cruise around the islands, it's fun in Hawaii. You can also scuba, you can snorkel, you can surf, you can boogie board, you can take whale watches, you can go out on zodiacs. The reef fish in Hawaii are magnificent, beautiful. There are green sea turtles, there are even muck seals, and of course they have sharks. But the ocean is in Hawaii. And Hawaii is very unique in that its coastline has a very severe drop-off because the islands are just mountains in the ocean. So, for instance, in Florida, you have to go out several miles before you can begin deep sea fishing because the sea's not deep. In Hawaii, you only have to go about a mile offshore and it drops down to 10 or 11, 12,000 feet. So it's very unique. The ocean's very unique from that standpoint that you can be fishing in just a few minutes off the coast. Maybe this is my favorite reason to go to Hawaii, and that's the food. Remember how I told you how all the cultures came together? Well, everybody brought their food. And we have some of the most amazing restaurants, whether it's Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Hawaiian. Hawaiian food is magnificent too. A few years ago in 1991, a bunch of the chefs, the local chefs in Hawaii, got together and they established what they call Hawaii regional cuisine. I call it Asian fusion. And that's where people bring a little piece of Hawaii and a little piece of Japan and they put it on something Filipino. And it creates the most unbelievable and magnificent dishes that you'll have anywhere in the world. But I love Hawaiian food. I love Filipino food. I love Japanese. All of these things come together in Hawaii. And you never have a lack of variety of all these wonderful places to eat in Hawaii. Number 9 reason I like to go to Hawaii is the music. And the music is so unique. Again, all these cultures brought something with their music. It started back with the Hawaiians, with the hula, with the chants. And the Hawaiians used the chants to communicate their genealogy, their history. This is how they passed it down from history to history. The hula, which we think was probably used as kind of a warm-up or an exercise to get ready for war and to get everybody psyched up for war. If you can imagine rushing out a field with a bunch of wooden clubs, that was war in old Hawaii. It went on through some of the contributions that Hawaii has made to music in the world. The slack key guitar, which has become even more popular now with some of the more modern artists. The steel Guitar was brought to the world by Hawaii and made a big dent on country music, and even down to the newest fads, Hawaiian, which is kind of a combination of reggae and Hawaiian. Every year in Hawaii, they have all kinds of festivals. One of the most magnificent ones is the Merry Monarch Festival, which is a hula. It's kind of like the Super Bowl of hula on the Big Island in Hilo. It's so funny. I tell people, boy, during the Merry Monarch Festival, the last evening on Saturday night, everybody in Hawaii is glued to their television to watch the hula competition, because it was huge and you didn't want to miss it, and everybody talked about the Merry Monarch the next day. Can't tell you enough about the music of Hawaii. I could do hours with you on the history and everything about the music of Hawaii. Again, if you go with us on our cruise tour, we'll introduce you to that, all of those things, and make sure you have a great understanding of the Hawaiian music. Finally, number 10 reason is the geography. No Hawaiian island is like any other. Kauai is lush and green. They have the amazing cliffs of the Napali coast, which is one of the things we see when we sail out on the Pride of America, when we do our cruise tour. Kauai also has the Waimea Canyon, which has been called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. What a beautiful place in the morning to see when the sun's coming up and the clouds are coming across and the birds are flying through Waimea Canyon, the reds, the greens. It is really spectacular. On Oahu, we have Diamond Head, which you can climb. Hanauma Bay, which is a magnificent snorkeling beach. It's an old crater, and one wall of the crater washed out or eroded, and so the ocean comes in, so it creates this like giant fishbowl, and that's Hanauma Bay. On Maui, we visit the Iao Valley, and we go up to Haleakala at 10,000 feet. It's an extinct volcano crater, and from up there, we think it's the largest volcanic crater in the world. The colors, the views that you get up on Maui at Haleakala. Haleakala means the house of the sun. Beautiful, nothing like it in the world. On Hawaii, the Big Island, we have from Waipio Valley, where you descend 2,000 feet on horseback, to watching the lava flow into the ocean. All of these things are there for you in Hawaii. Well, I hope you have enjoyed our top 10 reasons for you to visit Hawaii. Again, we have a passion for it. By the way, when we open our show, one of the things I ask you, or I tell you, is a komo mai, and that means welcome in Hawaiian. And so we hope that you've enjoyed our show today, our 10 best reasons to go for going to Hawaii. We hope you'll come back again and see us the next time we post to Just Cruising here on YouTube, or you can join us on our podcast at iTunes or Google Play or any of those folks. And we hope you'll give us a call at Cruise Holidays of Year and let us show you what retro service is all about and how magnificent and how easy it can be to plan a vacation that will be truly a memory of a lifetime, not just another kickback vacation, but truly a memory of a lifetime. And that's what we're going to plan for you. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you again, keep on cruising. Larry Jackson of Just Cruising. Hope you're enjoying Just Cruising here on YouTube. If you'd like to keep up to date on all the videos that we'll be producing here in the near future, all you have to do is click the subscribe button just below my picture here, or you can click right over here for a list of the latest videos. Either way, we look forward to seeing you again. Until we do, keep on cruising.